Today, an all-new Dr. Phil, Illicit Affairs.
He was secretly videotaping these encounters. Some were naked women in your car.
8 years of lies.
Why would you tell these women you were a sheriff?
Gain their trust.
Betrayal.
Trying to see if there's any remorse, and I don't see it.
And life-saving squander.
My daughter's suggestion was I can stretch out my lunch money.
Were you thinking maybe I could zip up my pants? Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
I hate to see people suffering, and you've heard long enough.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
I'm going to get you the help that you need.
In 5, 4,
This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Go, Dr. Phil.
Hey, guys. Thank you much. Thank you much. All right, here's what I want to do first. I want you to have a listen to this conversation. Just take a listen to this.
It was like dating for like 6 or 7 weeks.
What happened?
She kind of was seeing somebody else, and I don't like that, you know?
Well, she really didn't have a commitment with you.
Well,
Did you want to get serious?
Well, we had kind of, said, oh, see each other, and just you and just me, and nothing like engagement type of thing, but...
Didn't make it sort of exclusive.
Yeah, just between the two of us, and kind of caught her in a lie, and I just don't like that. If you'd have said, look, I want to see other people, that's one thing. But say one thing and do another.
You gave her the hero?
Yeah.
Well, sounds like a man telling his new girlfriend about a breakup with an old girlfriend, right? Wrong. Not even close. This is actually a husband pretending to be a single man, talking about a recent breakup with an imaginary girlfriend just minutes after having sex with a woman he's talking to who's not his wife. You heard me right. It's just the tip of the iceberg. Carmen thought she had the perfect husband in Dennis until one email destroyed her 10-year marriage and opened up a Pandora box of lies and deceit. Take a look. You'll understand.
A few months ago, I discovered an email on my husband's cell phone that turned my whole world upside down. That email read, "Here's my telephone number. I need to arrange a time to speak with you." And the reply to that email said, "Okay, I can't wait, baby." I started investigating, managed to find his username and password. When I did, I discovered Pandora's box. Dennis had over 30 contacts of various women's names. Dennis said, "I've been cheating on you for the past 2.5 years." My daughter, who was upstairs in her room, did hear. I just felt my world just crash. I just went crazy. I tore at my house. I just destroyed everything. I picked up one of the tables and I flipped it. He actually thought that I was going to hurt myself. He didn't try to stop me. He just watched.
Well, if that's not enough, you'll never guess what happened next.
He ended up calling 911. The police came and they arrested me. The police told me that they were arresting me because when I flung stuff around, something hit him across his hand. They asked him about the mark on his hand, and he explained that I put it there, and so they took me away for that. I not so much have had a speeding ticket or anything. I was in handcuffs. I was put in the back of a police car, and I was yelling to them, "Why are you arresting me?" When I got to the station, they handcuffed me to a chair. I felt like a caged animal. I felt humiliated and degraded. They tell me to put on this orange jumpsuit. And I'm thinking, I cannot believe this is my life. Like, what the hell just happened? My husband, my life partner, my best friend. He stabbed me in the back.
Now, if an orange jumpsuit and handcuffs weren't bad enough, it gets worse. Carmen discovered more lies, sex, and lots of videotapes.
A couple of days later, I went into his man cave and got on his computer. And right away, I ran into photographs of naked women. I start searching, and because I'm not tech savvy, I decided to hire computer experts to retrieve more information off his computer. The next day, they returned with the disc and told me they were required by law to turn the disc over to the authorities. I had no idea what was on the disc. I panicked. I offered them a bit more money so they wouldn't turn him over to authorities. What I discovered on the disc was that Dennis secretly recorded himself having sex with multiple women. He's having sex in his car. He's having sex in public. It's obvious that these women do not know that they're being videotaped. He's paying women to give him sex, meeting women in parking lots. In some of the videos, he's kissing these women. And he's like very passionately kissing them. He's kissing them like he loves them. And it hurt me so bad because he would not kiss me that way.
Okay, how do you react to all of this as you see your life unfolding on videotape here?
I'm in awe. I'm in shock. I feel sorry for that woman.
You don't seem that upset. What's going on with you?
I have gone through all the terrible emotions. I've been crying for hours and hours and hours and screaming my head off. Eventually, my family got tired of hearing me crying, and I had to I was nearly crawled under my bed so that they could stop hearing me cry because they became so tired of it.
I hate your pain, but I'm glad to hear you have some emotion to this, because when he told you this, he said, I've been cheating on you for 2.5 years. Oh, no, you haven't. Why are you saying that?
It's true. I didn't believe him.
No, you haven't.
Didn't register. I asked him again. He had to repeat it again before it even sinked in to my head, before I knew what was happening.
He was going on Craigslist, right?
Yes.
And he was pretending to be a pimp?
He was also pretending to
sheriff?
be a sheriff.
Pretending to be a pimp and a sheriff with a badge and handcuffs.
Yes.
And then he was secretly videotaping all of these encounters.
Yes.
Or many of them.
Many of them.
And
yes.
you saw those tapes.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Well, let's hear what Dennis has to say for himself.
Carmen and I are very close. We've known each other almost 30 years. She thought she knew everything about me, and this terrible secret that I had, I think, really adds to the pain that she thought she knew more about me than she really did. I spent countless hours online looking, 12 to 20 hours a day. I was up all hours of the night looking for ads and emailing people and chatting with people back and forth. Craigslist was what I used almost every single time. I mean, that's the easiest place to find almost anything that you're looking for. I can't really believe what I did at the time. I am a sex addict. My addiction took over everything in my life.
So the devil made you do this?
No, I did it.
No, you just said, I'm a sex addict. The
Yes.
addiction took over my life. And so I was a passenger. Is that your story?
I am an addict, but I do take responsibility for what I did.
You've had sex with over 24 women, right?
Approximately, yes.
And you don't use protection.
Not always, no.
And then you come home and have sex with your wife.
Yes, it
And
is.
a fair amount of them are hookers.
Yes.
And what do you pay for these hookers?
$150.
So pretty low rent hookers.
Yes.
Why would you tell them that you were a sheriff, for example?
Gain their trust, basically.
Where'd you get the badge?
I bought that online.
Where'd you get the handcuffs?
I actually have had those for 20 years. Well,
And you told him you were a pimp.
yes.
And why would you tell him you were a pimp? To get a discount or
Basically, just to...
try this out to see
Right.
if I want to represent you?
Exactly, yes.
So they could interview for the job, essentially.
Right.
You would get free
Sexual favors, yes.
So you even lied to the hookers
Yes.
and beat them out of their money.
Yes.
Is there a line you won't cross?
At the time, I don't think so, no.
Next, we're going to meet Carmen's sister and brother-in-law. Find out why sister says if Dennis' lips are moving, he's lying. We'll be right back.
Dennis would tell women that his wife died in a car accident. Those women felt sorry for him. I fear for my sister. I think with Dennis, it's not a matter of if he's going to cheat again, it's when.
And later, you think he'll not cheat again?
Oh, I think he'll cheat right now. I think that it's not a matter of not cheating again, Dr. Phil.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil. As finding his brother's killer.
He is consumed by this to the point that you are on the brink of divorce.
Become an obsession.
I know it's affected my family.
I lost my uncle, but I feel like at the same time I lost you.
Families torn apart by killings.
Since my son's death, I have shut down.
It's time for you to not run from your feelings.
If it was one of your sons, how would you do it?
America's most watched talk show. That's tomorrow.
My husband put our family in financial ruin. He cashed in all of our 401k, stocks, bonds, savings, anything that we had saved for our future over the years was gone. He was spending about $1,400 a month on sex. He was cashing in all of his sick leave. Dennis claimed to have a bouncer job and would get home at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I didn't think anything about it. I would see the $100 that he made at his bouncer job. He'd leave the 20s out, and he was actually pulling that $100 out of our joint bank account. Dennis had claimed that he had lost his job. In fact, he quit his job. My poor daughter actually suggested that she would stretch her lunch money out to last an extra day or two of the week. Our families helped out greatly. His family provided a lot of groceries. My sister was sending us gift cards. Our home went into foreclosure before I even learned that he had filed for bankruptcy. He wasn't paying the mortgage. He was using the money for a house.
He secretly taped himself having sex with women without their knowledge.
Yes.
Some of those acts were in the passenger seat of your car.
Correct.
Naked women in the passenger seat of your car.
Yes. They'd put their feet up on my dashboard, and he was photographing all of this.
It created financial problems for the family as well.
It did.
I made a list. He took out a few $100s from the paycheck to fund sex, made the family tighter on their bills every month, withdrew money from the 401k so he could catch up on the bills, spent $200 or $300 for hotels, spent $15,000 of your retirement fund, spent between $20,000 and $30,000 because of the addiction, as you call it. You paid these prostitutes between $100 and $150, pretended to get money from the second job, but withdrew it from your own bank account. You got behind on the mortgage. You got a foreclosure notice. In fact, your house was scheduled to be auctioned off last December.
Correct.
Carmen worked at 3 gyms 6 days a week to help pay the bills. She showered at the gym to save money. She stopped going to Starbucks to save money, planted a vegetable garden to save money, and I just am so bothered by this one. The daughter says, maybe I can stretch out my lunch money.
At the time, we thought he had lost his job. In fact, I called a family meeting when I thought he had lost his job, and I said, okay, the family's going to have to make some cuts somewhere. You know, Daddy lost his job. Everybody come up with ideas. My daughter said, I can stretch out my lunch money a little bit.
You were in that meeting?
Yes.
Were you sitting there thinking maybe I could zip up my pants? Did that go through your mind? My family, my daughter is saying she'll stretch out her lunch money, maybe only eat half a sandwich a day or something, so I can go out and pretend to be a pimp with some hookers. Did you think that through?
Yeah, it did. It did occur to me.
You know why I'm asking you this? I'm trying to see if there is any flicker of conscience here. I'm trying to see if there's any flicker of remorse here. That's what I'm thinking through in my mind, and I don't see it. Carmen's sister, Christina, and her brother-in-law, Jeffrey, say Dennis always had an excuse to avoid being intimate with his wife, but then performed like a rock star in his sex videos. Take a look. Not at the sex videos, just take a look at what Christina has to say.
Dennis is a predator, and he preyed on my sister. When my sister told me that Dennis was cheating, I was floored.
Dennis was an ordained minister. He was loving, he was kind, he was committed to his family.
Dennis would tell women that his wife died in a car accident, so women felt sorry for him.
I don't know which Dennis is the real Dennis, the family man or the one that's been getting prostitutes.
Dennis is cold as ice. After this was found out, my sister would wake up in the middle of the night and she would cry. And he would tell her, "Will you just shut the up?" And she would get up and go into the closet so he couldn't hear her. I fear for my sister and for my niece. I think with Dennis, it's not a matter of if he's going to cheat again, it's when.
Christina, thank you for being here. Jeff, thanks for being here. What do you think about this?
I think it's a wrap. People divorce for less, and what he did is, there's no recovery for a marriage.
You think this is a bridge too far? There's no coming back from here?
Absolutely. He's crossed many, many, many boundaries, and he's used her for many years.
Yeah. Jeff, what do you think about this?
How can you really do that to someone that is supposed to be your one and only for life?
You actually wrote the letter to us, right?
Originally, yes, sir.
What's been your attitude with her about this?
We've had our fights, I mean, understandably back and forth.
She says that you told her at one point, you got tired of listening to it, and you said, quote, "Shut the up about the cheating."
Yes.
How long were you cheating?
Years, 7, 8 years.
7, 8 years?
Yes.
But a day and a half of going back and forth about it was by God enough, right?
Yeah.
You told her that when you had sex, it had to be random because you were bored. Had to be a different girl every time, right?
For the most part, yes.
You said it was like playing Russian roulette, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So we got Mary Poppins over here making a casserole, and you're out playing Russian roulette with hookers. We got to take a break. A really good friend of mine who counsels couple in crisis, at my request, paid a visit to Dennis and Carmen a few days ago. We're going to find out what she uncovered that left her extremely concerned about their 13-year-old daughter. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Right now, your marriage it's on the line.
Right.
Have you always been like this? Have you always been this calculated and in control?
No.
You didn't see anything. There had to be something. Was your head buried in the sand?
And later,
she showed me her journal. She has started to change her music in the last month. I immediately took note of the words, and I saw the first words to a song, and I recognized it was a cutter. And I asked her, I said, "Are you cutting yourself?" She said, "Yes, I am, with my mother."
Are you cutting yourself?
When I read an instant message conversation that he had with a woman, I also discovered that Dennis is a pimp. He had recorded himself discussing with women different prices for different sex acts. Chinese something, Greek something. Just who is this man that I'm married to?
Well, the pastor of New Destiny Christian Center and author of You're All That, Paula White, is here with us today. Welcome, Paula. Paul, thanks for being here. Now, Paula motivates thousands and works with couples in crisis, helping them deal with the truth. in an effort to transform their lives. And I asked Paula to meet with Dennis and Carmen just a few days ago. Take a look.
I'm here on behalf of Dr. Phil. We have a family in extreme crisis. My intention is to go in and find out what's happening with this family. Hi, how are you?
How you doing?
Dennis and Carmen, we've got a lot of work to do today. You've said, I want to see if there's healing, if there's any hope for our marriage. So I'm here to get answers. This is a fact-finding mission. We've got to get to the truth. Carmen, I'm going to start with you.
All right.
You didn't see anything. There had to be something. Was your head buried in the sand?
He played me. He knew my history, the trouble that I had as a child.
There are some traumas that you've come past.
I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder for childhood trauma and rape.
Okay.
He confessed to me that he had been raped as a boy. We were not having sex. Like maybe 5 times a year would he throw me a bone. I had the urges and he didn't. And I would cry and he would just hug me and say, I'm sorry, babe, I just can't do it. I said, we don't kiss anymore. And he said, it's because when we kiss, it makes me think of when I was raped as a boy. And I would hug him and cry and I would say, I'm so sorry, babe.
Okay. So where are you right now? Do you think you'll ever trust him again?
I don't know what to do with my feelings for him. I can't just shut him off like a light switch.
And then what impact do you think this has had on your daughter?
It has affected her idea of men, love, relationships, marriage. Like she'll say, I'm never getting married. She's become withdrawn. She's starting to wear all black all of a sudden. I want to get her help, but I don't know what kind.
We've got a lot of work to do, and I need to get in with Dennis. All right, Dennis, you know why we're here. Right now, your marriage it's on the line.
Right.
Why do you want to change?
Because I don't want to be what I was for the past 7, 8 years.
Which is what?
A manipulating, lying person. I mean, if you knew me before, you would never think in a million years that I would do something like this.
You're so sterile about it right now. You're so
Right.
calculated about it.
Yeah.
Have you always been like this? Have you always been this calculated and in control?
No. When we argue, I am not in control.
You're not? What do you do when you lose control?
Yelling and scream, all sorts of things like that.
You were molested?
Yes, I was. And that started when I was about 6 years old, I'd say up until about age 9.
And did you ever get any help or talk to anybody
No,
about that?
I actually, the first person I ever told was Carmen.
Do you think you're going to cheat on Carmen again?
No, I'm not.
How can you say that?
I just don't want to cause any more pain for her or my daughter. She doesn't trust me.
I've spent the entire day with this family. Carmen wants this marriage to work. Dennis has a lot of work to do to open up. You've got 2 individuals who have a lot of brokenness, and I believe that they're committed to it. Their family can be restored.
You think he'll not cheat again?
Oh, I think he'll cheat right now. I think that it's not a matter of him not cheating again, Dr. Phil, because the issues are so much deeper. And until there is a belief system that's changed, it's like computer software that's programmed in him, and it's just going to continue to put the same thing out.
At this point, you're begging her not to leave you, right?
Yes.
And then you rage about it as well, right?
Yes.
Did you, at one point, I actually wrote it down, she tried to leave, you broke her phone and yelled, quote, "You're not going anywhere, bitch." True or false?
It's true.
I think Carmen has got to get her head out of the sand. I think she has got to open up her eyes, and I think she really is afraid to. And if I can share some of the things that Carmen shared with me in our conversation, when she said she wanted sexual attraction from Dennis and intimacy, and she equated that to sex. She said, I would do anything. I said, anything? And she said, anything. And she said, even bring other people, and she stopped. And so Carmen was saying, there's no boundaries. I don't have boundaries. And I'm begging her, for the sake of herself, for her daughter, she's got to get those boundaries in place.
Well, Paula, she said she was very concerned about the daughter here. And so she talked to Dennis and Carmen's daughter. We're going to find out what this precious child had to say and what Paula's reaction as a mother was when we come back.
And I was like, Dad, did this really happen? He just kept looking down and he nodded slowly. And I remember I started crying. When my mom came in, she was just like, don't you touch her.
Paula sat down with Dennis and Carmen's 13-year-old daughter to talk about how her parents' fighting is affecting her. You guys pay close attention to what she says here.
What happened the night that your mom and dad got in this fight?
They were screaming at each other. I could hear them downstairs. And my mom, she was like, your dad has been cheating on us for the past 5 years. I looked over at my dad, and he was just looking down at the floor. He didn't say anything. And I was like, Dad, did this really happen? He just kept looking down and he nodded slowly. And I remember I started crying. When my mom came in, she was just like, don't you touch her. And she pushed him out of the room and like slammed the door in his face.
Had you ever seen your mom like this? Or
never. They never fought before this. And I wanted to know how this all happened and everything.
Why do you think you wanted to know?
Because I wanted to know maybe I could have like helped somehow.
You're a 13-year-old beautiful girl. You're smart, but you feel this responsibility, like you wanted to help with your parents in some way.
They're my family. They're all I have. If I don't have them like together or anything, I don't have a family.
What do you wish that your mom and dad knew that they don't know that this is doing to you?
That this affects me in a lot of ways, like quieter, and I don't have a lot of friends. I don't talk to a lot of people because of this. I wish they knew how scared I am if I want to get into a relationship when I'm older, because this could happen to me and I don't want that to happen.
Don't get me crying.
What do you think about what your daughter's saying, Dennis?
It hurts me. I feel ashamed.
Before all of this, she thought he wore a cape. They were the best of friends, and now it breaks my heart. I'm not. She's my only child.
The most powerful role model in any child's life is the same-sex parent. What are you modeling for this child?
I thought Dennis was sick. I thought if he had a drug problem or an alcohol problem or something, that you stay and you help.
What has he done to fix this?
He's gotten on medication.
Does he wake up 2 hours early and go get counseling for this? Is he reading? Is he studying? Is he talking to professionals? Is he doing anything that would cause you to predict a different behavior in the future than you've had in the past?
No.
So he's basically done zip, zero, nada. He's taken a pill. Is this little girl hurting herself?
Yes, she is. And she brought out very dark drawings that she has begun to draw of skulls, demons, different pictures. She showed me her journal. She has started to change her music in the last month. I immediately took note of the words, and I saw the first words to a song, and I recognized it was a cutter. And I asked her, I said, are you cutting yourself? She said, yes, I am, with my mother.
Are you cutting yourself?
I was.
Did you do this with your daughter?
Not with. No, absolutely not.
It's funny, this comes right on the heels of me saying you're the most powerful role model in her life. What is so important to you that you will throw your daughter and your wife and your family under the bus to get a cheap high with a hooker?
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil, has finding his brother's killer
He is consumed by this.
become an obsession?
I lost my uncle, but I feel like at the same time I lost you.
That's tomorrow.
Let me tell you what I think's going on here. Okay, let me tell you what I think's going on.
Yes.
I wrote a book called Life Code, and it's the new rules for winning in the real world. And it says, let's take the blinders off and let's be honest about what we're doing and who we're dealing with. And I coined a term in this book called baiters. And it stands for backstabbers, abusers, imposters, takers, exploiters, and reckless. How would you grade your husband's paper on this checklist? Did he stab you in the back?
Yes.
Has he been abusive?
Yes.
Is he an imposter?
Yes.
Sheriff, pimp? Is he a taker?
Yes.
Has he taken time, money,
Yes.
trust, integrity? Has he exploited you and your trust?
Yes.
Has he been reckless with your life, your relationship, your family, and your marriage?
Absolutely.
How do you grade your paper?
That's all true. All of it's true.
And they have what I call the evil eight, these characteristics that you find in them. They have an air of arrogant entitlement. They lack empathy. They don't put themselves in your position and think how you feel.
Correct.
They don't have any real remorse or guilt. They're irresponsible and self-destructive. They thrive on drama. They thrive on drama. They're real proud about smarting people, you know, coming up with schemes and things like that.
Yes.
They have a lot of short-term relationships, like 15 minutes. Short-term relationships. And they live in a fantasy world that's delusional. They create this whole fantasy. How you grade your paper on these eight?
Almost all of them.
I'm going to give you a copy of this. I'm going to mark some areas that I want for you to read, because I think it's very important. In fact, I'll give all of you a copy of it today. All right? But, Dennis, your thinking is not logical, it's not rational. And you need professional help with this. And I'm going to tell you, unless and until he does what I'm saying he needs to do, which is get serious, specialized professional help for psychopathic, sociopathic, antisocial personality type behaviors, then you need to stay the hell away from him. You should have an undivided loyalty to your daughter. You need to show her strength. You need to show her dignity. You need to show her how to walk through this. And I will get you both that help separately, not as a couple at this point, until those professionals say that either of you are ready to come together as a couple. Then I will help you, but only help you separately, because I do not support the dysfunction of this union. Right. Would you like that individual help?
Yes.
Would you like that individual
Absolutely.
help? I will offer that to you just as our gift to you.
Absolutely.
And find out what is so important to you in terms of immediate gratification that you will throw your daughter and your wife and your family under the bus to get a cheap high with a hooker. All right, when we come back, we're going to meet a family who says a walk to the park turned tragic and ended up putting their 18-month-old son in a coma. We'll be right back.
Baby Isaiah's grandfather was pushing the toddler in his stroller. The teenager who hit baby Isaiah struck and seriously injured the toddler while driving drunk and high on marijuana.
I'm proud to say my new book, Life Code, The New Rules for Winning in the Real World, is a New York Times #1 bestseller. It's published by my son Jay's publishing company, Bird Street Books, and is available right now in all your favorite stores. My next guests were in the headlines after their 18-month-old son's life took a tragic turn when a teenage drunk driver plowed into his stroller during a morning walk. Take a look.
Isaiah's life took a tragic turn last October when a drunk teenage driver hit his stroller,
leaving the baby partially blind, brain damaged, and paralyzed.
Here's what Isaiah's parents, Jacob and Lucy, have to say.
My son Isaiah was nearly killed. He was internally decapitated. He had severe brain damage. When we finally saw our son, he was lifeless. He wasn't moving at all. It was the worst thing that you could possibly imagine. The doctors told us that most kids don't ever make it. After Isaiah's accident, I quit my job.
I had to stop working and I was taking care of Isaiah.
We didn't have insurance for Isaiah. We were barely getting by. After Isaiah was out of the hospital, his bills were well over $1 million. In his condition, there's so much equipment he needs. There's so much that just goes along with it. We're still doing the best that we can. We're still struggling to make ends meet. It just breaks my heart to see him like this.
Guys, I'm really proud to meet y'all, but I'm really sorry for the circumstance. How did you find out about this? How'd you learn what happened?
My mom called me. She was hysterically crying, and she told me, she said, Lucy, the baby was hit by a car, and she's like, and people were telling me that he was dead. And I hung up the phone when she said that, and I started crying.
It was just the worst possible news that you could ever get.
Have you spoken to the young man that did this?
We've never spoke to him before.
Have you ever wanted to?
I do, I have, because it hurts me that he's never tried to ask about Isaiah or even made a phone call to see how he's doing.
Well, the driver of the car was named Noe, and I have him on the phone right now. Noe?
Hello?
Noe, this is Dr. Phil, and I am here with Jacob and Lucy, the parents of Isaiah. And I understand that you were driving the car the day that this accident took place, correct?
That's correct.
And you were drinking and smoking marijuana at the time?
Yeah, I was.
And you spent 480 days in jail.
Yeah, that's correct.
These parents are here, and of course, as you know, Isaiah is severely injured, has severe brain damage, is paralyzed from the chest down. Is there anything you would like to say to these parents?
Of course I do. Jacob and Lucy, I just want to say I'm sorry. I know it seems like I haven't tried to get a hold of you guys, but I know that it's difficult for you guys, and I'm just like, I just don't want to make it harder for you.
How do you feel about what you did on that particular day?
I feel horrible.
All this time, where have you been? Like, we've been struggling with fundraisers, money. Where's a simple phone call to see how my son's doing?
I have been checking up on baby Isaiah. Like, I always check on the websites and stuff.
So you do check on the website. You do follow along to get the progress on Isaiah.
Yes, I do.
But you
I'm
felt like it was better not to call. Anything else you would like to ask him?
No, I think that's it.
Next, we're going to find out why Jacob and Lucy are scared. They may not be able to continue taking their son to his doctor's appointments. We'll be right back. Today's show is almost over, but you can always go to drphil.com to find advice on relationships, parenting, finances, and much more.
You can also watch previews of upcoming shows, get access to exclusive content and behind-the-scenes footage
that you won't find anywhere else. So log on. What are you waiting for? I'm back with Jacob and Lucy. Their precious son, Isaiah, and Lucy's father were tragically injured when a drunk driving teenager, also high on marijuana, lost control of his car, crashed into them, hit the stroller, and severely injured Isaiah for life. He does have to go to the doctor a lot. You two share a car. I think your van's got 200,000 miles on it. Is that right? And you have to go to work. You're staying to take care of him. We would like to present you, Jacob and Lucy, with a second family car. We would like to, in fact, we would like to give you a sporty new Acura ILX hybrid. And that's it right there. You know, I did a commercial for Acura last year at Christmas time, and I really liked these people and the integrity of their company. And so the Acura division donated a car at our request to Jacob and Lucy, and it has a continuously variable transmission, and the EPA estimates that this will get like 38 miles a gallon combined mileage. So it's very efficient because it is a hybrid. I mean, it's just really, as you can see, a super nice car. And so if we may, to the two of you and to Isaiah, we would like to present that car to you. That will help some, right?
Yeah, thank you so much.
That's awesome. I would also like to say, as you know, we have the Dr. Phil Foundation that we've had for a number of years, and I am going to open up a special Isaiah fund inside the Dr. Phil Foundation. And if you would like to help this family struggle as they struggle to take care of this precious child, then you can go on the website and you can click on Dr. Phil Foundation, then you can click on Isaiah Fund, and it will be right there. 100 cents of every dollar you donate will go directly to these people. And so it will go straight there. And I always think you need to prime the pump, so I would like to start that off with a $10,000 donation for both of you. I want to thank all of my guests today, and a special thanks to Paula White for her great work in this important house call. Paula, thank you. And to Acura Division for donating a sporty new 2014 Acura ILX Hybrid. Thanks so much. Thank you. God bless you. Thanks so much. God bless you. God bless you.
Today, an all-new Dr. Phil, Illicit Affairs.
He was secretly videotaping these encounters. Some were naked women in your car.
8 years of lies.
Why would you tell these women you were a sheriff?
Gain their trust.
Betrayal.
Trying to see if there's any remorse, and I don't see it.
And life-saving squandered.
My daughter's suggestion was I can stretch out my lunch money.
Were you thinking maybe I could zip up my pants? Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
I hate to see people suffering, and you've heard long enough.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
I'm going to get you the help that you need.
In 5, 4,
This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Go, Dr. Phil.
How are you? Hey, guys. How are you? Thank you much. Thank you much. All right, here's what I want to do first. I want you to have a listen to this conversation. Just take a listen to this.
It was like dating for like 6 or 7 weeks.
What happened?
She kind of was seeing somebody else, so I don't like that, you know?
Well, she really didn't have a commitment with you.
Well,
She didn't want to get serious.
well, we had kind of, said, oh, see each other, and just you and just me, and nothing like engagement type of thing, but
Didn't make it sort of exclusive.
yeah, just between the two of us, and kind of caught her in a lie, and I just don't like that. If you'd have said, look, I want to see other people, that's one thing, but say one thing and do another.
You gave her the info.
Yeah.
Well, sounds like a man telling his new girlfriend about a breakup with an old girlfriend, right? Wrong. Not even close. This is actually a husband pretending to be a single man, talking about a recent breakup with an imaginary girlfriend just minutes after having sex with a woman he's talking to who's not his wife. You heard me right. It's just the tip of the iceberg. Carmen thought she had the perfect husband in Dece until one email destroyed her 10-year marriage and opened up a Pandora box of lies and deceit. Take a look. You'll understand.
A few months ago, I discovered an email on my husband's cell phone that turned my whole world upside down. That email read, "Here's my telephone number. I need to arrange a time to speak with you." And the reply to that email said, "Okay, I can't wait, baby." I started investigating, managed to find his username and password. When I did, I discovered Pandora's box. Dece had over 30 contacts of various women's names. Dece said, "I've been cheating on you for the past 2.5 years." My daughter, who was upstairs in her room, did hear. I just felt my world just crash. I just went crazy. I tore up my house. I just destroyed everything. I picked up one of the tables and I flipped it. He actually thought that I was going to hurt myself. He didn't try to stop me. He just watched.
Well, if that's not enough, you'll never guess what happened next.
He ended up calling 911. The police came and they arrested me. The police told me that they were arresting me because when I flung stuff around, something hit him across his hand. They asked him about the mark on his hand, and he explained that I put it there, and so they took me away for that. I not so much have had a speeding ticket or anything. I was in handcuffs. I was put in the back of a police car, and I was yelling to them, "Why are you arresting me?" When I got to the station, they handcuffed me to a chair. I felt like a caged animal. I felt humiliated and degraded. They tell me to put on this orange jumpsuit. And I'm thinking, I cannot believe this is my life. Like, what the hell just happened? My husband, my life partner, my best friend, he stabbed me in the back.
Now, if an orange jumpsuit and handcuffs weren't bad enough, it gets worse. Carmen discovered more lies, sex, and lots of videotapes.
A couple of days later, I went into his man cave and got on his computer. And right away, I ran into photographs of naked women. I start searching, and because I'm not tech savvy, I decided to hire computer experts to retrieve more information off his computer. The next day, they returned with a disc and told me they were required by law to turn the disc over to the authorities. I had no idea what was on the disc. I panicked. I offered them a bit more money so they wouldn't turn him over to authorities. What I discovered on the disc was that Dece secretly recorded himself having sex with multiple women. He's having sex in his car. He's having sex in public. It's obvious that